how's it going? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Logo Wednesday. Logo Wednesday is the show where I critique the evolution of a logo, of a company or organization, or anything of that matter, on a Wednesday. By the way, it's going to be every other Wednesday, starting now. Apparently doing every Wednesday is a bit tough, especially when you have school and other projects. So, every other Wednesday will hopefully be the new schedule. Thank you. Today's episode, I thought we would take a different turn. We will do a company that I am not necessarily the most knowledgeable about. Gap. Yeah, we're going to be looking at Gap today. We've done Zellers, we've done General Electric I don't know a whole lot about, but Taco Bell I know a lot about. I'm going to do other countries as well, don't worry about that, but let's do the Gap. And let's get into the Gap's logos. So everybody knows about the Gap, you know, everybody knows Gap. It's probably one of the most famous clothing retail stores, if not the famous. Maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but it's pretty famous, at least in the US and Canada. I don't know about elsewhere. So Gap was not founded as Gap, it was founded as The Gap, or The Gap, or They Gap. There does not need to be that many ways of saying that word. The company was founded in 1969, and this was their logo. So this is it. This is the first logo. And remember, this is 1969. Not too bad. Not too bad of a logo. Not too bad. Is it the greatest logo? Is it the best one to start with? Maybe not. This is 1969, and, you know, social norms were kind of being pushed a little bit, pushed to the side, and making way for some interesting logos like this one. This one looks a little bit more abstract from the ones beforehand. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it definitely shows in this. The logo is unbelievably simple. It's literally just font, but it's got something interesting with it. So it's got the word Gap, and it's got the word The, but The is rotated and is heading towards the word Gap. I don't know if I like it completely, but it certainly is an interesting decision and kinda cool. I do feel like it's a little bit empty without any color. It's just black and white. The font is black and the background is whatever you want it to be, I guess, but it's alright. It's a pretty alright logo. Again, is it the best? Maybe not, but it is definitely pushing some new grounds that I'm sure probably needed to be pushed. I don't know what I'm saying. What will I give this logo? What will I give it? I think I'll give it an 8. It's a really good logo. I think, you know, it's maybe not the most appealing, like, in general, just like the most, but it is still a really cool logo, and I think it does definitely deserve an 8 spot.
Yeah.
Good job, The Gap. Alright. 7 years after this logo was used, The Gap decided to change the logo very slightly to this. This is not necessarily a Zellers or a General Electric sort of change, where you can barely even see the difference. It is a slight change, but you can definitely notice it. It looks, well, the main thing you notice is the word The is kind of just there. That's not straight, but it's straight now. The text is straight. I didn't really notice until now. I mean, I guess I sort of did, but the font is just all lowercase, which to this day is still an uncommon practice. It's becoming a lot more common now for logos and companies to kind of give that aesthetic of all lowercase, kind of like they're in touch, or they're kind of a cool brand, which does work, but I didn't really notice it, and it actually does kind of enhance the logo a lot. So this one looks very similar. Any other details I can see? Let me just quickly check. So the word The is a little bit bigger now that it's straight, and it's a little bit darker. Before, it was kind of faded. The logo looked a little unprofessional, but it was kind of charm, but it looked pretty unprofessional. This one looks a little more better. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's not cool anymore because it's not on an angle. What? I think it works in the favor of them. That is not how it goes, but it is a good logo. It's a great logo. I think it's better than the one before. I don't think the one before is automatically now considered terrible, but the one that we got now, in this period of time, is better. But what will I give it? What will I give this logo? I think I gotta be given logos like these. I mean, again, it really is just this logo, but a little different. Does the difference make it that much better? I think so. I think I'm gonna give it a 9. I was kind of thinking of an 8.5. I was a little uneasy about it, but I think I'm gonna definitely give it a 9. So instead of this one lasting 7 years, it lasted 10 years. The logo we got instead, let's just take a peek. Oh, wow! Would you look at that? My vision just went weird for a second, but this is the logo that they decided to change it to in 1987, 86, not 87. I think my brain is melting. It's definitely becoming an oven. This Gap logo is very nice. It is a dramatic shift from what they were doing before. Instead of having all lowercase, we go to uppercase, baby! I really gotta stop with the energy. We got color now. No longer are we doing this simplistic black and white. Now we're doing color. The color that they choose is this very dark, and it's a very pungent sort of blue that you can't miss. And also, you can't mistake it for probably any other company. I really didn't think about this beforehand, but this blue, you can't mistake it for any other company. At least I don't think. Maybe you could find some. But this particular blue, if I saw it in a box shape, I immediately think of the Gap. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm such a klutz. They changed the name to Gap. I didn't realize that. I think a lot of people still call it the Gap. I guess it just has that much power, the original name, that they just kind of associate it with the now name changed company. The font is, I don't even care if like this font existed before this logo. In fact, no contest, it did. But this font is Gap's font. I think that's the really beautiful thing about this logo, is the way they constructed it just makes it their own. It doesn't even matter if this color existed, or this shape, or this font, or I don't know, the fact that they erased the "the" from their name, which a lot of stuff does actually. A lot of pieces of media like to do that, where they just erase the "the" after a little bit of time. It is Gap. All the elements together, or even if you put them apart, you still see the Gap, or you still see Gap. An incredible logo. That font is just so royal, but also so simple. It works way more in the favor than the old one. While I still think the old one does work, this one works on a way more just extreme level. You already know what the ranking for this one's gonna be. It cannot be contested. It cannot be beat. This one's a 10. I almost would put it at an 11. I don't know if I want to do that. I did do that with General Electric, but I don't really know if I'm gonna do that. I'll keep it at 10, and I'll think about it more, and we'll see what happens. Alright, everybody, so Gap. This logo lasted from 1986 to 26. Whoa, hold up, buddy! Look at this logo! No. No way, Jose. This, oh boy. Oh gosh. If there's a logo that makes me mad, it has to be this one. It is actually just, no. It deserves the criticism. It deserves the shame. Some people may think that this logo, what's the problem with it? Well, a few things, and I'll tell you them. Please just let me explain. Alright, just let me explain. So in 2010, The Gap decided to rebrand their logo, and I guess their whole brand. I don't know what their idea was, but they were like, well, this logo is cool, but people like simple logo. I see where they were coming from. I definitely do. And in fact, I would say they're a little bit ahead of their time. A lot of logos weren't doing this at the time. Weren't doing this yet, where they simplify their logo. Only problem is, this is not a simplification. This is dumb. They were trying to do something and they did it very badly. Let me explain. Okay, so first off, alright. They got this, box in the corner. I'm gonna say this. I think the concept of the logo can work. I think it could work. I think it's pretty attractive. Even for a clothing brand. Seeing it on the tag of your shirt. I think that definitely could work. The past logo worked perfectly for being on the tag of a shirt. Or just being around the store in different sections. It can definitely work. Yeah. But there's some problems. While I do think the concept is good, I think the way that they played it out, the way that they did it, is probably the worst you could do. Almost. I think they did some things right, but some things they did wrong. Here it is. First, we get this little square, and while I don't... oh, jeez. While I don't think it's the worst thing, they put a gradient on it. A terrible gradient. I could do better gradients in Pages, and Pages isn't even meant for graphic design. It's... oh, boy. And the font, and you might be thinking, well, that font looks pretty alright. Yeah, I guess so, but what about this one, or even this one? They look way... This one just isn't as good. This one is just eager to be better. But it isn't. It's just an okay font. And... that isn't okay, maybe. Maybe it is, I don't know. I just don't really... okay. I feel like the box maybe could be a little bigger, maybe not. That's just a minor qualm, though. And really, there's not much to judge it on. So the few things that I judged it on, the terrible gradient and the font being worser than it could be, that's enough, really. I mean, there's not a whole lot to work with. I don't even know. So not only is this a huge jump from the one before, it also was a huge jump to everybody, just in general. Nobody expected this logo to show up. They just brought it out right out of the blue, and nobody liked it. And them just bringing it out right just like that probably wasn't helping. I do notice a similarity between this one and the one and the two first ones, like the first one and the second one. The difference is those ones are all lowercase and they're very thin, and they give off a very sort of counterculture in a sense sort of vibe. This one, it just looks it's so forgettable. You will not remember this logo. This one and even these two, you'll remember them. This one is very forgettable, especially with the silly font and the just overall bad gradient. Why? I'm ragging a lot on it, and that's because it's a badly designed logo. And also, I probably have all the free will to do it, because nobody really seemed to like it. It's been considered one of the worst logos, and I don't think it's bad as a concept, and I think there are some good things about it, you know? I think the choice of a black font is cool. I think that is kind of cool. Again, the concept is cool, but it's played out very badly. Also, the fact that it came out so suddenly, customers hated it. And so, after about a week, vamoose. It's gone. They literally got rid of it, and they brought back the old one. So obviously, Gap realized they had to go back to the drawing board, and this time, they were ready to do something a little bit better. So this one, the one that is amazing, haha, lasted 6 years until they finally decided to let it go. Let it sit in its rocking chair and relax. And they brought out this one! Okay. You're probably looking at this logo and you're probably thinking, that's not as good. Alright? Don't even waste your time, man. It's not as good as this one. It's not as good. It's not as good as the 1986 one. You just don't waste your time. Just give it a low ranking and move on. And actually, no. Oh, that's the last logo. Just go, man.
And yeah, is it as good in a sense?
No. Yeah, 30 years of this. We got this. I think this is a good change. I think this will work well on tags. I keep pointing at this shirt. Well, this is the shirt I'm wearing. I have other shirts. Let's see my other shirts. They got rid of the blue box. And while I'm not a huge fan of it, I think it works alright in its favor. Because, this is the thing. This is the good thing about Gap. Is they had free big things. They had the box, they had the color, and they had the font. Before, they got rid of pretty much all of them. They kept the box, but I'm gonna be honest, that box was tiny, and it had a gradient. Nobody cares about that. It literally just looks like a completely different box, even though they're probably like I think both of those boxes are like, they're both like squares. It just looks so much different. You wouldn't recognize it. It looks like a stupid credit card company or something. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care enough about it. Let's stop talking about that one. Let's talk about this one. They kept with the font. And it works a lot. Is it the best? No. They seem to have put like the letters a lot apart. I get why they did that, because now there's literally nothing constraining it. The letters can be as far apart as they want now. It looks a little weird when I'm looking at it, like analyzing it, but if I were to just see it on a billboard, or see it on a tag, a shirt tag or something like that, maybe even a coat hanger if Gap makes coat hangers, it wouldn't look that weird to me. In fact, it would look kind of nice. Because while they made it simplified, they kept with their core values. And you gotta respect a company that does that. And I don't even have to like say like, oh, Gap's owned by this. They're owned by Gap Inc. And Gap Inc. has basically existed for about as long, if not as long, as the Gap itself. So, yeah. Will I give this logo a 10? I think I will. And I made my mind up. I have made it up. And although I'm not gonna do this very often, we're going to give this one an 11. Yeah, pretty epic, man.
I gotta say it's pretty epic.
And again, this one is really cool because they take elements from the original and they take some out. And while that seems very weird to do on an iPhone, for this logo, it kind of works. Although it's not the same, and although I don't think it's as good, I think for the modern day, it works very well. Especially for the aesthetic of Gap. Man, my videos are getting really wholesome. Thank you all for watching this episode of Logo Wednesday. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like. If you only sort of enjoyed it, you don't have to give it a like, because, you know, you didn't like it, you just sort of liked it. They don't have a button for that. Leave a comment if they should add a middle, like an in-between, a neutral one. And also leave a comment if you have a logo suggestion, because I'd be willing to do them. I mean, I can think of them myself, but I'll let you guys, you know, if you want to collaborate, contribute to what I'm doing here. Check out Logopedia. I'll leave a link down below. I'm going to start doing that, hopefully all the time. Leaving a link to both this page, the Wikia page for Gap, and Logopedia itself. I still haven't created an account, but hopefully I do that soon. Yeah, sounds pretty alright. Maybe subscribe. I don't even know if you would want to share these videos because they're pretty long, but do what you can do. That's about it. I'm probably gonna get a haircut soon. Okay, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all maybe in 2 Wednesdays. Maybe 1, if I have the time. You'll see. But regardless, see you in a Wednesday. I'm flying out. That's okay. See you in a Wednesday. I'm flying out. Oh. Challengers. Whoa. Look at me, guys. I'm in a Gap commercial. Ow! That didn't hurt that much. I did actually bang my ankle. Only slightly, though. I have no idea why I used this peace sign.